Alright guys, good morning. How's everybody doing today? It is Thursday. We got a few we have a few movers in the market right now. Not a ton. I'm not liking that much. Gonna watch NIO and AMD and probably some of these cannabis stocks again. That's been doing me pretty right so far, and so I'm just gonna keep following them to see what happens. Also watching VBIV. You can see VBIV here. Moving some. It's not tradable for me, but it's still moving some. Maybe I'll watch it on Robinhood, see what happens. As always, maybe look for some put options for that one. TST gapping up some from 152 to 194. This one isn't tradable either, but it looks a little bit better than VBIV, honestly. It has a little bit better volume, I think. And actually, no, it doesn't have better volume, but it has more obvious levels, I think, than VBIV. So watching that one. Like I said, gonna keep an eye on the cannabis stocks like NBEV, CGC, Cron. See where they go. ACB. We'll see where they go. Looking at CIDM as well. It moved some yesterday. It's at 99 cents. Gonna watch that one as well. Gonna look at TVIX, which is an ETF. I'm guessing the overall market is down. Yes, because the TVIX is up, which usually does the opposite. So I'm going to watch that one. Looking at Momo here, MOMO, gapping down from 31.69 to 28.11. Going to watch this one to see if it maybe pushes up, does a gap fill, see if it breaks those lows, continues dropping, either one. I'll still keep an eye on it. And AETI moved a lot yesterday. I don't think it's still tradable for me, but it moved some, so I'll definitely probably watch it again. MIK as well. We also have NXTD popping up on the scanners. I remember this stock. No volume. AU, which is a gold stock. And so we'll see where this one goes as well. What's up, John? You got second in a poker tournament. Nice, man. Was it online or was it in person? What's up, John Ennis? Good morning, man. Marcus. Huguetes, no worries, brother. TF, GE, I'll check that one out. Rommel, OGEN. Yeah, man. Let's look at OGEN, see what this one's doing. I mean, it's surprising that it's honestly still up here. Just looking at the daily chart, it looks terrible. I'm just surprised it held these gains. Now, I know it was a much smaller move, and it did get rejected at that previous high right here at about 165. But I'm just surprised it's still up there. I guess it needs to hold over $1 for OGEN. But it doesn't look that bad, honestly. We'll see what happens with it. I don't like the daily chart. 7, you're still beefing with Nightbot, man? I just need to be friends, man. Ears looking good. Let's see. Yeah, ears is moving some, and pre-market. It's a little bit cheaper than I like to trade. It's 64 cents. Let's look at the daily chart. See if it has a history of bouncing. It does, but not a great daily chart. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's gapping up some. It's at 64 cents. We'll see if it can push up, get up to that $1 level is what I'm kind of watching for ears. This one's moved a lot in the past. Rommel, as a rookie, I don't even watch ACB anymore. I bought it at 740. It hurts to see it take like that. We'll hold long. I mean, let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, I mean, it's just been it's been a little volatile the last few weeks. I think a lot of people thought the Canada legalization would really help boost these cannabis stocks, but they're regulating it more than people thought, and that is causing them to drop, ironically. And so, we'll see what happens with them. But I'm not an investor regardless. Like, I just try to hold it for 30 or 40 minutes maybe, and then jump out. Global Poker, nice, man. Hey, dude, see, I've never actually played a tournament on Global Poker. Like, the only thing I play is I play sit and goes. Like I play like 6 and 9 max sit and goes, like cheap buy-ins, like like a dollar or two buy-in, and I just play like 8 at a time. You know, like generally my win rate is like at least 50%. Which if you're winning 50%, you're gonna be in profits on poker anyway, and sit and go specifically. And so I just play like $1, $2 sit and goes over and over and over again, about 8 at a time, and you know, just try to win a majority of them. LEDS is up. But nice work, man. Good job. I gotta go check out their tournaments. I've never done it before. I've never played a tournament on there. I've played some tournaments before, but not on Global Poker. Oh, it's a free roll. It's a free roll tournament. I'll have to go check those out. I didn't know they had free rolls on Global. That's cool though, man. I mean, I honestly like. I don't like. I don't need 6 screens. Like I just use one screen, and I put eight. I put eight. I put 8 tables up at once on just one screen. If I had them spread out across all my monitors, it would probably hurt my neck to keep looking back and forth. You know, my ultra widescreen monitor is big enough to hold like 12 screens and see them all easily, and so that's what I do. But yeah, if you want to play me in poker, man, my screen name on Global Poker is Jukebox Johnny. It's either Jukebox Johnny or Johnny Jukebox. I don't know which one it is, but it's something like that. I can't remember what it is. It's one of those two. DTRM. Yeah, man. I mean, it's right at 50 cents. We'll see where it goes. Honestly, I'm not in love with the market today. It's not. I'm not liking it too much. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know. Poker's the one game. Like I'm not really much of a gambler. Like I don't really ever. Like the only gambling I ever do is like I play poker, and it's like I don't consider it gambling because I haven't had to deposit anything in like a year or two into any poker website, and so it's like if you're okay, like it's just like trading, right? You find your niche, and then you like try to find what games, like what style of games you have an edge in, and then you just focus on those, and like that's what I do. I just focus on sit and goes, which I do really well at, and I don't have to deposit money, and so it's like to me it's like I've actually withdrawn money on Global, and I'm definitely up in net profits over a year or two's time span. So I know, man. I've actually like I go do this charity poker tournament once a year. It's usually in like December, January, and they're always telling me about it over there. Yeah, GE. I see a few people talking about GE this morning. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, GE. Let's see what the daily chart looks. It's a terrible daily chart, man. Just a terrible daily chart. I mean, I think it's got about sometime, but who knows, man? If the company's failing, who knows? I just don't know enough about it, but I know a few people have been playing this GE move. It's just been getting hit. There should be a lot of shorts there, but it just keeps dropping. I'm hesitant to short it now. It had some fades yesterday as well. I'm hesitant to short it now because who knows when this thing's gonna bounce. It's been fading some. It's just the range is small. It's a little choppy. Nice little bounce there, but yeah, you can see VBIV. There's a few of these cheap stocks that I can't trade on TEFs that are moving. VBIV 236. I mean, Isaac, I've been shorting AMD anytime it drops at the open. Like I shorted it yesterday, or I shorted it Tuesday. I think I short. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I shorted it Tuesday. Monday, I think I shorted Cron or CGC, but all last week I was shorting AMD. Like I shorted AMD like 5 times last week. and it worked out. You know, I didn't have a losing trade on AMD last week, and I was only shorting it. It's just about the daily chart with it now. I've been kind of watching it. Like anytime it moves up at the open, like spikes up, I've been looking for a bounce. Anytime it drops, I've been looking for a fade. But nice, Isaac. Yeah, man. I mean, it's been super reliable with the strategy I use on it, and so I've just been rinsing and repeating that. It's eventually it's not going to work, but you know, until it stops working, you know, I'm just going to keep doing it. All right, guys. I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the restroom really quick. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. All right, guys. I'm back. Got to take my morning restroom break, but yeah, I mean, TST isn't looking too bad if you can all trade it. I can't trade it, but it's not looking too bad there. Isaac, are you talking about our service or a different service? If you're talking about our service, Abby does. We have Tiny. Let's see who else in here. John Ennis does. We have a few people that use it. Okay, yeah, we got a couple people. Abinay up top is in our classes. He's been there for a few months. We have John Ennis is in it. If you ever see Tiny Trader, she's in it. We got we have about 20 members right now. Roughly 20. What's up, Abby? No, whenever I use thinkorswim paper trading, it always let me short. From what I remember, it's been a while since I used it. PBR is showing up on my scanners for gapping down here. We'll see where PBI goes. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, poker's super similar to trading. And I've been playing poker, John, like before, way before I started trading. But, you know, you make the same mistakes in poker as you do in trading, right? So like poker, you want to play a certain range of hands. And you want to wait for that specific range of decent hands to play at the right time. And so if you don't wait for the best hands and you play 7-2 offsuit, then, you know, variance is going to be a lot higher. It's going to end up hurting your bankroll. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people have variance with good setups, and so it makes them use worse hands. They have variance with good hands, and so they get tilted and they play worse hands and then keep losing. It's called tilting in poker. And the same thing happens with trading, right? You get in a good trade, it goes against you, you get bummed out about it, and so you just force trade after force trade, and you keep forcing them until your account's gone. And it's the same type of thing in poker as it is in trading. And, you know, I think it's that emotional battle that you have to go through. It's Araz. I didn't trade anything on NIO yet or PBR. I'm just looking for what I really look for, guys. Like the patterns that I use. There's a few of them. Like Tuesday, I traded AMD. Like what I essentially look for with this is I look for a drop at the open. Like you can see this drop with decent volume, and so I look for a nice big drop at the open. I look for a pullback to this purple line, which is the VWAP, giving myself a tight risk up here. And that's where I jump in short right around here. And I just look to ride it down some, usually to the previous low of the day down here, take my first partial, and then let the rest work. I sold a little bit too early with this one on Tuesday, but that's essentially the pattern I trade the most. You can see another example, even if you look at NIO here, it's just, I call it a VWAP fade. Some people call it different things, but you can see drop, pull back to the VWAP. This is where I jump in short, ride it down. And that's the kind of my favorite pattern that I use. And it works, you know. Like I said, if you look at my stats from the last few weeks, yeah, this is my graph from the last month or so. Just about the last month. It's a profitable graph. I had a little bit of a drawdown on the 19th, but, you know, so far it's been a green graph. I've been trying to up my sizing some, but, you know, not too bad. I'll take it. The last 2 weeks have really been good. This is my graph from the last 2 weeks. Haven't really had a gross losing day in gross profits, at least, in 2 weeks now. I've been trading every market day that I can, so not too bad. I only use that strategy. That's like one of the only ones I use, because I've actually back tested it. Sometimes the VWAP bounce, but for the most part, that's the only one I use. AETI. With AETI, I remember this one ran yesterday. I can look at it. Let's look at the daily chart is really what I'm curious of. I'm definitely more short biased with it. I don't know what it's going to do though. It could very easily push up. Just judging it off the daily chart. First off, it has resistance. You know, at this, it has a little bit of resistance at this 140 level above it. You can see it was support here and some resistance over here, and so it's got some resistance above it. It's also, if you look at the daily chart, every single time it spikes up, it tends to fail and come right back down. Like I said, though, who knows, man? This one, you know, can really continue going up. And so, who knows? I guess I'm more short biased with it, but we'll see. You know, it could go either way, I guess. But I guess I'm more short biased with it. But yeah, I actually enjoyed my day off yesterday. I was kind of bummed out I wasn't able to trade yesterday, that the market was closed, but I did enjoy my day off of like resting in the morning for once. Alright, so let's look at this gappers. You can see the gappers here. I'm not really seeing too much that I can trade and that looks good. PSTG maybe. PSTG's not moving either. Yeah, the SPY's getting hit. Yeah. Big gap down. SPY's been consolidating for the last, I don't know, for the last 2 months or so. You can see just the last 2 months, it's just been choppiness. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And so I'm not going to really get worried on the SPY until it breaks. Let me look to see what that level is. And until it breaks this realistically 260 and holds. If it can break under 260 and hold under that, you know, that's when we're starting to look for the market to turn a little bit. I mean, I'm a short bias trader, but naturally I still want to see the economy do well. Just because, you know, the economy does well, the country does poorly. And so, you know, although it might be good for shorts, I want to see the economy do better. What's up, Jason? What's up, brother? Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see what happens, man. If you look at the daily chart, every single time it gets down to 260s, it gets down to 262, it bounces. Even back here, it's never really held under 260 much. It popped down there a little bit, but in the last year, it hasn't really held under there. And so that's kind of the level I'm watching, 255, 260. You know, if it gets under that, we may be in trouble. Yeah, 250. I could see 250 as well. I could see either one. Like if you look at the weekly chart, it's got some support at 258, and so I just kind of rounded it to 260 because that's kind of right around where it's at. This 260 level is probably the average, and so you know we'll see 250, 260. I don't want to see it get lower. I'll put it that way. I'd obviously like to see it get up higher, but you know we'll see what happens. You know. I don't trade the overall market much unless I'm trading like an ETF. And so, but naturally, I do want to see the market do good. You know, I want to see the market do well. Um, and hopefully that's what we get. What's up, the adventures? Hey, welcome, brother. Yeah, I mean, it's I've been shorting AMD every day for like a week and a half now. Like if you look at my stats, like you could see how much I've been shorting AMD. Let me find it. Like if you look at my stats here, I think it's instrument. Yeah, you know, look how much I've been shorting AMD in the last week or so. It's all been AMD. I traded one on CGC, one on BOX, but in the last 2 weeks, all I've traded was AMD because it keeps working. You know, in trading, it's like you find a little, you know, you find something that works in the market and you just kind of rinse and repeat until it stops working. And that's what I've been doing with AMD. It works, you know. Yeah, I was looking at Michael's. The volume is just low with it. You know, the volume has just been low with Michael's. SDOL doesn't look bad. It's an ETF. I got to see what kind of ETF this is. Isaac, I'm using TEFs, which is TradeNet's broker. On there, anything that's tradable is shortable. So anything that I can trade, I can short. And I think most of the cannabis stocks are tradable in there. And so... Alright, so we can look up news. See what's really moving here. There's not a lot moving. I expected today to be slow, in all honesty. I wasn't expecting it to be really high volume today, just because yesterday was the market was closed. And so we'll see what we get. usually look up news on my cell phone, but I don't know where my cell phone went. That thing's lost, man. Oh well. I'll find it later. I'll just have to look it up this way. Alright, but yeah, I'm really happy with how my trading's been. I just need to scale up a little bit, It's one of those things where it's like, I can see my trading's obviously ready, but it's a tough process to, like, scale up, and that's ultimately what I have to do at this point. I got to be able to take swings when the market's in my favor, and so we'll see what happens today. All right, so first what I'm going to really look up today is some of these two big movers, VBIV, gapping up and then coming right back down. I can't trade it, but I'm still going to look it up just because it's moving probably more than a lot of these other stocks. Trade dispute between the U.S. and China, an arrest of a highly ranking official of Chinese digital device maker is what's causing the market to be down. Tensions between trade with the U.S. and China, and so that's kind of what the market's doing. Oil prices are lower. All right, so VBI Vaccines is what VBI is. It entered into a license and collaboration agreement with BRI Biosciences for the development of a functional cure for the treatment of chronic hepatitis B infection using VBI's recombinant protein-based immunotherapeutic VBI-2601. So that's positive news for VBI. We'll see where this one goes today. Another one I'm looking at is TST. It's thestreet.com. We'll look to see what's going on with this one. So we have a press release for TST that says they're going to sell institutional businesses, and also the CEO, David Calloway, is going to resign for TST. We'll see what happens with it. Curious to see if, I guess people are viewing this as good news, but we'll see where this one goes at the open today. If I could trade it, I'd probably look at it for a short, but who knows? This thing could skyrocket up as well. Another one I'm looking at is Momo, M-O-M-O. This one's actually gapping down a lot this morning. Probably following the overall market, but we can look this up as well. Tech stocks are down. So MOMO reported a Q3 adjusted net income of 53 cents per American depositary share. It's up from 45 cents per ADS in the prior year. I'm curious though. I mean, isn't that good news for MOMO? Maybe it's just tech and so it's down, but it seems like that would be good news. It beat the estimates as well. Must be down just over tech in general. Alright, looking at AMD as well. Like I said, tech is down some today. It's a microchip company. Alright, so this is saying the market's overall down because of concern over flattening yield curve and unfinished business and trade talks. Another home builder warned of weakened demand in the fourth quarter, saying the housing market has slowed down. Interesting. We'll see what happens. Let me know if you want me to look up anything else. I'm not really seeing too much else that are really moving like I like it to. What's up, Felix? Good morning, man. Here, let me refresh this for biggest gainers. I'm not sure why that's not showing up. Weird. I don't know why that's not showing up, man. I'll try to put that back up. D-A-R-E. Yeah, a few people talking about Dare. I'm going to add another top list. Nothing's showing up on the biggest gainers, man. I don't know why. Like, I've done it twice. It's just not showing up. That's weird. Dare, D-A-R-E. Alright, let's check it out. Whoa, look at D-A-R-E. I missed that one. Appreciate it. Let's look up, see what's going on with it. I don't know if I want to read this one. Alright, so DARE announced a licensing and global rights to novel phase 3 product candidate for one of their treatments of bacterial V, is all I'm going to say. It's a leader in clinical stage women's health innovation, and it announced it entered a definitive agreement with Hammock Pharmaceuticals. Dare is going to acquire the global rights to MP101 for the treatment of bacterial V, as well as the rights to utilize the underlying proprietary hydrogel drug delivery technology for any V or urological application in humans. So they entered into an agreement, was what happened with DARE. I don't think it's tradable for me, but yeah, they entered into an agreement. Yeah, I mean, that's all I'm saying. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. You gotta watch these companies. I mean, it's not tradable for me. I can't trade it regardless, but, you know, we'll see what happens. Somebody... Wait, who was it? All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes, a little bit over 5 minutes. Yeah, Isaac. I mean, I'm using a Tefs account. I have about 4,000 to lose, but it has 80,000 in buying power, and so I don't know. It's kind of hard to relate it to another account, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is a problem. I mean, you know, whatever. Like, it is what it is. If it's the company's profitable, it's profitable. You know, we'll see though. I mean, who knows? I've seen Dare move before actually. Yeah, you know, usually it doesn't hold its gains. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Ruckus. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people. You know, they were long biased in the cannabis stocks, but I think, you know, it's going to regulate it more than they thought they would in Canada. And so that's the ultimate reason why a lot of them aren't doing great, I think. All right, cool, Isaac. Dare is your AMRN. Yeah, man. No, I hate AMRN, man. AMRN, I always joke and say it's dead to me. It never follows my specific patterns that, like, I look for. I got you, King. What's up, Jonathan? Yeah, man. I mean, I'm going to be watching AMD. I'm going to be watching NIO, the cannabis stocks. A few other ones. We'll see what we get, you know. No, I hate AMRN, man. AMRN, it's I don't hate it. I just never have good results with it. I know myself well. Like I've traded AMRN a bunch of times, and I never have good trades with it. You know, there's been a lot of weeks where it would have been a huge good week for me, but I traded AMRN once or twice, and it like brought my week down. And so I've just been ignoring AMRN. That may be true. Like, here's the thing: it might fade hard when it actually does fade, but like a lot of times it doesn't fade. Like it's been faking me out at least. You know, it's just hard to judge. Like really looking at this chart, it looks like rejections actually work better with AMRN. You know, it has a lot of VWAP rejections, honestly. Fades, I don't know if fades are really good for it, but it's just one of those stocks that I just don't like trading. I just never had good results with it. And you know, that's okay. I mean, it's just not my favorite stock. Is NIO cannabis? I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think NIO was cannabis. Um, Main watches: NIO, AMD, the cannabis stocks: NBEV, CRON, CGC, VBIV, TST, MOMO, ACB. Yeah, I didn't think it was a cannabis company. It kind of moves like one, honestly. If you watch it, it kind of makes similar moves to the cannabis stocks, but it's a car company. It's a recent car company, too. It recently IPO'd not too long ago. Like, look, you can see if I look at the daily chart. Yeah, it IPO'd in September. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half left. Let's get ready. Good luck, all. Let's do this. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. We have about 40 seconds, guys. So let's try to make some money today. Like I said, in gross profits, I'm on like an 8-day win streak right now. And so no pressure, no stress. Hopefully I have another green day, but if not, I'm just happy I went on a 8-day win streak in the first place. But so we'll see how this goes. You know, watching AMD, NIO, going to keep an eye on the overall market as well. All right, here comes the bell. There it is. That is too loud on my headphones. All right, so the market's open, guys. Let's see what we get. VWAP's a little bit too high for AMD right now. I think it might push up, but who knows. NIO tanking some, dropping at first at the open. Cannabis stocks up a little bit. NBEV down. Let me see it. Momo dropping. See what the SPY's doing. Oh, sorry. Let me put up those scanners, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so here's the momentum scanners. Let's see if we get the biggest gainers percentage to work. There it goes. Now biggest percentage gainers is working. I'm not sure why it wasn't before. All right, we got AMD dropping. Honestly, the VWAP's just too high right now. The VWAP's just too high to get in on a fade. The VWAP needs to drop some. Like if the VWAP can get down to like 2018, I would take it. if it pulled back up there. NIO dropping some. I want to see some more volume, a bigger move down. SPY's dropping some more. It's at 265. TST popping up on the scanner if you can trade it. Yeah, see, this is why I said I didn't like AMD, is because, I mean, honestly, it was a beautiful little washout long here, you know. But this is why I didn't like AMD, is because the VWAP is too high. And there it goes, squeezing up. No stress. We may get a rebound today since the market dropped, so it may be kind of a long day today. Like a up day in the market. Good for longs, we'll see. Man, AMD just really pushing up here. Filling some of that gap. Nice little mini washout long here for AMD though. Kind of looking at CGC. I mean, it's not my favorite. Tight risk, but not really getting any big drops like I look for at the open. DARE. Yeah, I forgot to look at that one. Hold on. I mean, at this point, it looks like a gap fill. It doesn't look like a bad move for a fade. I can't trade it, but it looks like a gap fill at this point. Alright, for any of these fades, like to get in any fade here, I want to see a bigger move. I'm just not seeing a big enough drop for any of these at the open, really. I mean, Dare's down, but I can't trade it. Momo's down as well, but it's kind of choppy. SPY pulling back up here. Honestly, I'm curious to see if the SPY fades. Like, the SPY is right up there. Like, see if it gets rejected right here and pulls the fade. Like right here. Let's see if it drops now. That'd be funny if I saw the SPY fade. I don't know if I'm going to trade a VWAP fade on the SPY, but curious to see if it does or not. Doesn't look like it. May do a washout long here. Looks like it's trying to rebound. I mean, yeah, AMD, it's just, it had a red day, and now it's rebounding, so I'm filling that gap. I mean, you can see, look, I drew this line right here from that previous low, and look to see exactly where it went, right down to the very cent. It went right to that level, and then dropped. And so, I'm just using pre-market levels to kind of show me, but I'll spot on with that one. Cannabis stocks moving up as well. At least some of them. Cron is. Looks like the other ones might follow suit here. The low of NBEV. What do you mean? $4.15s? That's right where the low of the day is currently. I'm kind of looking at NBEV. I mean, it doesn't look bad if it pulls back up to that VWAP level. Risk would have to be at 28. Pretty tight risk, but I don't know if I trust it with all these cannabis stocks moving back up here. You know, a lot of these cannabis stocks have faked out fades, and so I don't know if I trust it at that point. Doesn't look bad for a fade. I mean, we got the drop, but with the rest of the cannabis stocks, this is a CBD infused or a cannabis infused drink company. Speaking about NBEV, and so with the cannabis stocks rebounding some today, I think this one might rebound as well. And so it doesn't look like a bad fade, but considering what the overall sector is doing, I just don't trust it. And maybe I was probably right here. Now that it's moving up, just broke the high of the day. So Annihilate, these are scanners. This is Trade Idea scanners right here and underneath, and then this is TEFs on the left side, on the top left right here. So Trade Idea scanners, TEFs, Thinkorswim charts. Honestly, I'm just not seeing much I really like right now, specifically for the fade. Maybe if AMD pulls back to this VWAP level, I could set a tight risk of, I don't know, 40. But aside from that, I'm not really seeing much I like right now. As a short trader, a lot of stuff's moving up, except for Dare, but it's starting to move up as well. UXIN moving up. SFET. Yes, choppy as well. Yeah, it kind of shows you how important like mapping out the levels are, because you can see I drew this level here before. At first it was resistance, it pushed over it, held that level with support, and then continued moving up. And so it kind of shows you how you can use previous like levels to let it kind of guide you in the trade for AMD. You can see it found support there at that previous level that I drew before this move. Yeah, it's just, I mean, at this point, the reason I didn't like AMD at the beginning, you know, and usually I like shorting this one, but the reason I didn't like it is because the VWAP was way above it when it opened up. And so with that, the VWAP has to be a little bit lower for me to like shorting it. It has to be underneath the VWAP. And with the VWAP that high, chances that it's going to get underneath it are pretty low. And so that's the reason why I never took that one. The rest of the cannabis stocks as well, they're just kind of moving up here. Let's see what NIO is doing. I mean, with the market moving up, I guess you could watch these ETFs like UVXY. See if we get a fade for these. If it gets up here, maybe with a risk of 50 or so. Doesn't look bad. Big risk, though, relative to what I usually trade. Big reward as well, though. Are you long or short, Jason? Yeah, IQ ripping as well. Interesting here. I'm watching CGC here. See what it does. Um, it's testing the VWAP again now. So we'll see if it finds support there or not. That's kind of a big support area from the previous first few candles. So we'll see if it finds some support here and then moves back up. Risk 60. Nice, Jason. Yeah, it looks like a good fade, man. I just can't trade it. But at that point, it looked like a nice fade. Hopefully you make some money with it, brother. CHK. Yeah, today's just one of those days as a short trader that I just don't have that many opportunities. Not really seeing too much that I really like at this point. Market's up, cannabis stocks are up, AMD tech stocks are rebounding some, so it's just kind of one of those days where I don't see too much. Looks like Dare's working out for you there, Jason. Good job so far, man. PTX, what's up, Two-Wave? What's up, man? Wow, look at PTX. Yeah, man, PTX is getting a big volume spike, starting to rip up there. Yeah, you can see Jason took Dare. Nice little fade here. This is one of the better ones I've seen today. There it goes. Hey, nice work, man. It's followed through thus far. It was a decent fade, honestly. Nice little risk area. Confirmed that risk area. And kept moving down for you, brother. So good job, man. Unfortunately, I can't trade it, but hopefully you're making some money with it, man. Aside from that, I mean, I'm not seeing too much that looks good, you know. Everything's a little... If it's not slow, it's moving up for the most part. Cannabis stocks may be giving some of it back here. Wow, look at UXIN, guys. Look at UXIN. Whoa. Is this an ETF? I think it is. Look at UXIN. It's not tradable for me, but man, look at that move. TST faded. Yeah, I mean, if AMD pulls back to the VWAP here at 285, I guess you could set a tight risk at 260 for 25-cent risk. Reward level could be up to 2140 here, and so, you know, about a 55-cent reward, and so better than 2 to 1, but we'll see what we get here. Nice, Tesser. Good work, brother. Yeah, I haven't gotten in anything either two-way. It's just I know my strategy and I know my style. And I haven't really seen that many examples of it today. I haven't really seen, like, usually what I look for is a big drop at the open, and I haven't really seen, except for DARE, which I can't trade, I'm not really seeing any big drops. TST kind of faded here. You know, you can see TST pulled up to this VWAP level, but is it my favorite? No. Yeah, NIO. Somebody's talking about this triangle here. I'm squeezing up. I appreciate the sub, hands on. Welcome in. Appreciate it. HMNY on my scanners. HMNY. Look at it. Look at it go, man. This thing has gotten hit, though. It's at 2 cents. Crazy. It used to be tradable. I seriously doubt it is anymore. No, it's not. Figures. Alright, so here's, like I said, with AMD, I mean, you get a tight risk of 2060, reward of 2140. Kind of just going to mentally paper trade it. It's just not really my favorite. There's the pullback with UXIN. Kind of weird time and sales action, or level 2 action on AMD. Like I said, I could see a bounce here. I could see a bounce and it getting back up to that previous high of the day for this VWAP bounce play here on AMD that I've been watching. We'll see. Cron. Hey, Dare's looking nice for you, Jason. Hey, nice work, brother. Yeah, I was watching it with you, man. Good work, man. Nice little fade play. Good job, brother. Nice, Jason. Hey, congrats, brother. That was a nice trade, man. I was watching it for you, bro. Unfortunately, I can't trade it, but it looked like a good fade, man. So congrats. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of watching AMD here. Like I said, I could see a bounce play happening here. Just because it usually, like, if you watch AMD, a lot of times if it spikes up like this, it bounces off of the VWAP. And so I could see it bouncing here. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of mentally paper trade it because it doesn't fit my strategy perfectly. But risk level of like 2060 here doesn't look bad. Reward level of 2140. Not the best risk reward. You would have had to get in down at 2090 or so to have good risk reward. But it's kind of one of those that I'm watching to see if it follows through or not. Just kind of testing my strategy to a certain extent. Hey man, glad to help, Jason. Kind of looking at the same thing for UXIN. See if UXIN can hold support here at $4. But yeah, so far, guys, I mean, I know y'all are probably wanting to see me trade. I'm just not seeing anything I really like at this point. You know, I think you guys probably know my strategy. And if I don't see it, I don't see it. I can't force it here. You know, I'm not going to force it if I don't see it. And so, just going to wait to see if I see anything that looks good. If not, you know, I don't mind sitting on my hands today. It's just not tradable on the broker I use. Jason shorted it. KO. And so, like I said, watching UXIN to see if it holds support at $4 here. It's had a really big move today. I wonder if I can buy a put option on UXIN. Let me see. I would love to buy a put option on that one. Just because if I buy a put option, my risk is relatively limited here, there. I can. Oh, yeah. A $3 put option. I'll take it. Excuse me. Yeah, no stress, Jason. I mean, at this point, John, listen, man, like, I don't know if I would try to copy my options trades. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, like, my options trades, I'm still a newbie with options, man. And so, I mean, I'm looking at UXIN for a put option. It's $5. I think the risk is worth the reward with it for a put option on UXIN. But who knows, man? It's just kind of it's just kind of me playing around with options. Like I said, I'm not as well versed in options as I am stocks, and so it's kind of one of those ones where it's too cheap for me to pass up. But you know, so Dare is a VWAP fade KO. So like, it's the pattern that I essentially look for most. And what you look for with a fade is you look for a big drop at the open, like you can see. Let me remove some of these. So like, if you look at DARE here, the essential basis of the strategy is you look for a drop at the open with nice volume, a pullback to the VWAP. This is where you jump in short right here. And then you ride it down. Typically the way I approach it is I take my first partial at the low of the day. So right here, taking my first profit here and then letting the rest work to see if it can pull, go down some more. Set a tight risk. In this case, it could have been $1.30 for a risk of about 8 cents, reward of about 14, 15 cents. And so it's good risk reward. It's better than 1-to-1 at least. But looked like a nice example of it. Like I said, I'm still looking at AMD here. Like I said, it's kind of like a paper trade. I'm looking to see if that 260 risk I would have given myself holds. See if it bounces back up to that 2140 level. That's kind of the trade I was talking about. We'll see if it follows through or not. Kron. Yeah, man. Kron got rejected at that VWAP nicely. Beautiful VWAP rejection there for Kron. Yeah, there's the fade and then there's the rejection, right? Like the rejection is a little bit less accurate, but it still has typically good risk reward. So like for instance, you see how it was a bullish pattern on Kron and then it broke underneath the VWAP here. And then it pulled back up and then got rejected back down. That's the VWAP rejection. Hey, I get it, man. I get it, Jason, for sure. I have 2 kids myself, man. I gotta deal with it constantly. Yeah, I mean, mine is till the 21st, so it's like a 2-week option. Just to see if it gives it back for UXI, and I don't know if it's going to be able to hold those gains. And so it's a 2-week option. Yeah, but with our classes, guys, I mean, like I said, like we're not experts or gurus or anything like that. Like we just have a system that works, and we try to teach the foundation of day trading for new and experienced people. We really we really base it all around risk and reward, analyzing the risk and reward in each trade, giving yourself a viable trade plan to follow, cut down on emotions because of that, because you'll have organization in the trade, and really try to find some consistency is the goal. What's up, Don? Uh, it could, man. Like I'm watching it. I can't trade it, but I could see it moving back to the VWAP. So we can try to analyze the risk if it does move back to the VWAP here at 119. A reasonable risk area, I think, could be this 125, maybe 127 level. And so if that's our risk, that's about a 9-cent risk up to 127 if you got in here. 8 or 9 cent risk. And then reward could be down to this 105 level or so. 104, 105 down here. And so your reward would be about 14 cents. So about a 9-cent risk with a 14-cent reward. A little bit less than 2 to 1. Not bad, but not perfect either. And that's if it moves back to the VWAP or so. If you set it at 124, it would be a 6-cent risk versus a 14-cent reward. So it would still be good risk and reward. It just depends on where you would want to set your risk. I could see it either way. I could see risk here or at the top there. And like I said, with AMD, I was kind of expecting a bounce. If I got in here, risk of 2060, it would have been a definitely positive risk reward there as well. Yeah, man. I mean, they've just been getting hit, Jason. Yeah, like I said, with Dare, it's just about whether it gets back up to the VWAP. I'm just not seeing anything like that looks ideal right now. I could have taken the bounce here on AMD that I called out. It's following through nicely. Um, risk of 2060, reward of 2140. So follow through really well. But it's kind of one of those things where I've stuck to the fade for so long that it's just what I'm really comfortable with. Got to branch out a little bit, I think, but we'll see. I mean, AMD looks to be following through with that pattern, but it's still a little too early, I think, to tell. Spy ended up reversing, man, and getting hit too. Also, if anybody wants to check out the broker I use, I'm using TradeNet and Tefs. I just posted a link. It gets you 10% off any of the TradeNet and Tefs packages. And so that's the broker I'm using. Do your research. There's been some drama about them lately, but if you want to go through my link, I make a small commission from it, and it's one of the ways I keep this live stream always free. And so if you want to help support the channel, you can go through the link if you're interested in using the same broker I am. AMD is, following through here. Maybe you should have taken it, but like I said, it's just not what I'm used to trading. But the risk and reward made sense. SPY rebounding some here. We'll see if it gets up there. It's trying to get back up there to 25 or 265.90s. AETI actually had a nice little fade as well. It's not tradable either, though. Yeah, I mean, Isaac, like the strategy I called out here is it's called a VWAP bounce, right? It's like the opposite of a VWAP fade. Like what you see with AMD a lot is like you see a big move up, like a big spike up, a pull back to the VWAP here, and then a bounce back. And so that's kind of the play that I was watching with it. I don't know about it over 2140, but I know that that's kind of the level. If I was in the trade, I'm kind of like mentally paper trading it right now. That's the level I'd be watching, is that 2140 level for this VWAP bounce. Again, it's still too early to tell. I think 2120 has to break, but so far it's followed through. What are the odds that fades recover? Um, And so all I can really say for the fade is like my back testing results. Like when I back tested the VWAP fade over a year sample size, it's a short pattern. Like it's shorting the stock. It's basically taking advantage of a confirmation in the downward trend when it can't break back over the VWAP. And so that's essentially what the fade is. When I back tested it over a year sample size, the accuracy rate with the right conditions was 73%. And so it definitely had a positive accuracy rate with the fade. But it's all on the right conditions, right? Like the best conditions for the fade, at least in my opinion, are when a stock is actually gapping up in an overextended way. Like you can look at Dare and see this thing moved up a huge amount, a huge percentage. And so I would definitely consider this extended. And, the other conditions are a big voluminous drop at the open, which we also got with Dare. And then, the VWAP has to be in the right spot. And so all the conditions were there for Dare. And you can see it followed through really nicely. But unfortunately, it wasn't tradable for me. But that's kind of what I look for when I back test the results to see kind of what we're going to get with it. I think this 2110 level needs to hold on AMD to see if it continues pushing up. And we also have Dare pulling back to the VWAP here. Like I said, risk reward in this trade. If it gets up to 118 where the VWAP is at now, if you set your risk at, 125, that's a 6-cent risk. You could set your reward target at the previous low of the day at 105. And so it's positive risk reward in that trade. But it's just about whether, the only reason I don't like it at this point is that it put in a higher low here. Put in that higher low right there. It makes me trust it a little bit less. I'm not saying it's not going to work this time as well, but that makes me trust it a little bit less. I appreciate the sub, Rue and Who. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but welcome, guys. Oh, two-way, you're in Dare, man. Sorry, brother. I mean, hey, it doesn't look bad. Like I said, it put in this higher low here, and so it could easily push up, man. Hoping it works out for you. Like I said, though, with AMD, this is kind of the big level here. Like, if you look over and you see this top line I've drawn, you can see it was the low of the previous day, the previous day's low right there at 2108. And so it's testing that 2108 level now, and we'll see if it can hold support there. I think that's a big level to watch, is that 2108 level. SPY moving back down, guys. SPY's getting hit again. Yeah, I'm watching Momo here. I mean, Momo's pretty low. I could see it rebounding some after a lot of downward moves on Momo. It's just I'm kind of watching the overall SPY at this point to see what it's doing. At this point, I don't know if I'm going to trade today. I just haven't seen anything that looks good enough that I can trade. AMD wouldn't have been a bad little scalping bounce play, but it's just not. It's really what I look for a lot of the time, but it would have worked. What is Michael's? What is the symbol for Michael's, Jason? It's like MIKTIK, something like that, right? No. Oh, it's MIK, right? Mm. You are right, man. Look at that fade on Michael's. That was a pretty fade. Yeah, look at that fade here, man. Beautiful fade. Twice it faded nicely. Tight risk too for both of those. All right, so yeah, here goes AMD. I guess that VWAP bounce play would have worked, man. It's something that it's very weird. Like I've noticed with AMD that anytime the stock pushes up, like it did today, like spikes up at the open, it usually follows through with the bounce. Like it usually follows through with the bounce. And anytime it moves down, like it did yesterday, it usually follows through with the fade. And so it's, like I said, AMD has kind of been like a money machine for me lately. It just continues to work with both the bounce and the fade. I just got to take advantage of the bounce more, but it's what I called out. It had a tight risk. Like I said, this 2060 level would have been a really nice risk area. And 2140 would have been my reward target, but TST rebounding some here, yeah, getting up to 2218. In my case, kind of getting back up to the VWAP, and it's not a bad risk area. Like you could see a risk area of 1602 or so, and then if it gets up to the VWAP at 86, I mean that's what a 16-cent risk. Reward target can be 1540s, and so it's a big reward for a small risk on MIK, but I think it's just down too much right now for me to really want to test that. And AMD would have been a beautiful trade too, man. But yeah, it's kind of a weird day in the market, guys. So I'm not one of those people that has to trade every day. If I don't see my setup there, I don't see it. I'm not gonna force it. And so I think today's just one of those days where I just didn't see my setup. I've also noticed that weeks where I actually skip a day, my head's usually in the right place, and I tend to do much better statistically than I do on days where I trade every single day, on weeks where I trade every single day. T America, he still has his student account. I think he's trying to withdraw from TEFs, and so he's trying to just go for it, even if he loses the intro, just to see if he can get a withdrawal out of there. He doesn't want to risk it on his student account, obviously, because student accounts are a little bit more expensive. Yeah, he's just going to go for it and use big sizing, try to get a withdrawal from TEFs, just to kind of test it. Appreciate the sub, Ali. Welcome, man. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I could see a little bit of a double top at this point. I think I probably would have already taken profits in AMD if I was long on that bounce play. It followed through really nicely there. At this point, I could see a little double top, maybe see it fade back down. Yeah, I see. I think Dare. I mean, Dare is one of those stocks that it gapped up in an overextended way, The only reason, like, I think $1 might hold a support for Dare, but at this point, it's kind of in between where I would jump in and where I wouldn't. Um, the SPY is kind of going back and forth here. A little bit of a fade there on the SPY, actually. It all just depends on AMD though. Like if AMD continues to hold this 2110 level, I'd still be a little long biased in it. And it had a beautiful bounce that I called out. Like I said, when I called this one out, my risk was 2060, reward of 2140. Didn't quite get up to 2140, but I would probably have taken profits there anyway, knowing myself. Maximus, man, I mean, it all just depends on what you're looking for, man. KL, pop it up with my skaters. Look at the move on KL. Big move up. CLDR. KL starting to spike here. Yeah, CLDR going crazy here too. Just kind of a choppy day. Kind of looking at ACB here. I mean, it's right to the VWAP. The only reason I kind of like ACB here is because the risk could be super defined there at 88 or so for an 8-cent risk. Not the best reward though. It's only about a 10-cent reward, honestly. So I don't know if I like that one. Not great risk reward, unless you set your risk at 85s, but I like that 88 level better. I think that's a more reasonable place for a risk, and so it's about 1-to-1, a little bit better than 1-to-1, but not by much. AMD it's looking bullish here. It's all about whether it can break this previous high, and especially this 2150. But do they have put options on CLDR, Jono? If they do, I might copy off of you. I mean, the daily chart, I don't like the daily chart that much. It does have some resistance above it, though, and so that doesn't look bad, actually. It just depends on what the price is for CLDR. Kind of a weird day, though, guys. I thought today would be a little slow, and it has been so far. It's just one of those days where there's only a few select setups, and most of them aren't tradable for me. A lot of stuff is choppy, like especially like if you look at the cannabis stocks here, super choppy, just kind of back and forth, sideways trends, NBEV, ACB, and so it's just kind of a choppy day. Not a great day for my type of shorting. And so it's just kind of one of those things. Yeah, Maximus, but what do you mean by that? Do you mean you want to do long-term investing, or do you want to really focus on day trading, but you're willing to put the time in? Alright, so AMD testing that previous high of the day. AMD though, man, it's been like I said, it's been super predictable. At least for my type of setups. It's been super predictable for my type of setups. And it's one of those stocks that I'm going to continue to watch every day. All right, and your brand new Maximus. I mean, you could check out our classes, man. Like we always say, like we're not experts, man. We're not gurus or anything like that. We just teach people the fundamentals of like our system in day trading. A lot of it revolves around risk and reward, but our classes are going to be cheaper than a large majority of other people's just because we're not claiming to be gurus or experts or anything like that. And so if you want to check those out, you can. I can post the link, man. It's $30 a month for our classes, and like in that you get 20 live classes, so 20 classes where we're actually there live, and then you get our backlog of classes, which at this point is around 400 hours of backlogs of classes. So it's like 40 plus backlog classes that like old classes that we've taught already. And so if you're interested in checking that out, I can post the link here. But it's all up to you, man. Like I said, we're different than a lot of people, and like we're not claiming to be experts or gurus. But at the same time, like we're actually showing people all of our live trades on YouTube. Like I stream every day live. I can't hide anything, and so you see me if I win or lose. And I think we're probably the more honest people in the trading world. But at the same time, I mean, if you look at our stats here, you can see we actually know what we're doing. Um, this is my graph from the last week, or no, the last 2 weeks, the last month. Let me get this. This is my graph from the last month. And so I had a little bit of a drawdown on the 19th, but it's still a nice, pretty graph here. Decent accuracy, nice follow through, so. Don't do it, Todd. Don't do it, brother. Beginner trading the second, huh? Yeah, man. I mean, I started this channel like 2 years ago, and like I don't know what I was planning on doing when I started this channel. If you look back 2 years ago, I was a terrible trader. Like, if you go back look at my really old videos, like the first videos I ever put out when I was trading on Sure Trader, I was terrible. I had no idea what I was doing. They're funny to watch though. Every now and then I'll get a comment on my really old videos, like my 2-year-old videos, and they'll be like, "You suck. You're a terrible trader." And I'll have to tell them like, "Look, man, I agree with you. I was terrible back then." What's up, Casey? What's up, brother? How you doing, Casey? You still keeping that green streak alive, brother? Yeah, nothing for me today, man. I just didn't see anything I like. Hey, nice work, Casey. Good job, brother. Keep at it, man. Yeah, with Dare, it's one of those things where it's like it's setting up for a fade. But like I mentioned earlier, I don't like it as much because I put in fade instead of Dare. I don't like it as much because it kind of stair-stepped back up to the VWAP, meaning it put in higher lows here and here. And so it's putting in higher lows back to the VWAP, which makes me trust it a little bit less. It seems a little bit more bullish. But it is approaching the VWAP, and like I said before, I don't know if I like the risk to reward for this specific trade. We'll see, though. I mean, who knows? I can't trade it regardless, but... CGC's back up to the VWAP as well. I mean, here's the like I'm torn with it two-way. I'm not saying I don't like it for a fade. I'm just saying it's not. I wouldn't consider it an A plus setup because like with the fade, like if you look at the trades I did on Tuesday on AMD, right? Like with the fade, I like to see a quick pullback to the VWAP. Like that's ideal for me. Is like a quick move back to the VWAP, like you could see AMD did the trade I made on Tuesday, where it just quickly pulls back to the VWAP and then quickly gets rejected back down. Those are my favorite fades because it usually means I'm in the green like immediately as soon as I enter the trade. Now, if you look at that, like AMD on Tuesday with these two beautiful fades here, compared to Dare, it's just a much slower move, a much more consolidating move, sideways, higher low move back to the VWAP, which makes me trust it a little bit less. It still could easily come back down and follow through with the fade, but it just makes me trust it a little bit less in this regard, you know. Plus, the risk reward isn't great for a short play. It's about 1-to-1. It's not terrible, but it's just not a trade I would make. Not saying it's going to go either way. I could see both sides of it. I could see a short with the fade, and I could see higher lows on this move back up for the long move. And so when it's like that, I usually look to risk reward and see which one's the most beneficial. And I think with shorting, although it is a little bit better than 1-to-1, it's not. I'm usually looking for at least 2-to-1 on a trade, and I don't get 2-to-1 with this one. I get about 1-to-1. And so, you know, for that reason, I'm out. But hey, it kind of looks like it's following through on the fade. Yeah, it kind of looks like it followed through. It got up there, got up to 117, and then just tanked back down. So it kind of looks like it's following through on the fade. I don't want to say whether it is or it is not. I think it depends on whether it's going to hold support at 105. That previous low of the day is what I'd be looking for now. But MRO. Yeah, MRO is too choppy, Todd. I just don't like it. Kind of looking at Momo here. I mean, it's a gapping down stock. But if it gets up to 2680 right here, let's see, risk could be, I don't know, realistically risk would have to be at like 2730. And so it's about a 50-cent risk. Reward would be about 26. And so about a, what is that, 80-cent reward, 50-cent risk, 80-cent reward. Better, it's about 1.5-to-1. So not too bad. Risk would be this. Reward would be this. And so it's not bad. It's better than 1-to-1 for sure. But it's whether I want to get into it is kind of a toss-up. I know, Desert. That's what we were just talking about. Dare, man. It's kind of one of those ones where it's like I could see both sides of it. It just didn't have good risk reward for me at least, but it followed through okay. Like I said, the next level for it is 104, 105. Maximus, so it's $30 a month for our classes, and it's just a subscription, so it's like every month it's $30. But I still think the value is pretty good for $30. I mean, like I said, it's you get 20 live classes and then the backlog of all our old classes, which is like 400 hours, around 400 hours, approximately 400 hours of classes. So like 40 old classes as well as 20 live classes where we're actually there. And so, you know, I still think the value's there, but it's up to you, brother. You know, it's completely up to you, man. You know, I think we give good value in it. I think, like, we're not experts or gurus. We're not trying to be experts or gurus. I still have holes in my game I need to fix, but, you know, like I said, I think our system works, and we live stream every day, and you can see, you know, my accuracy rate in the last week and a half. I'm really proud of my accuracy rate, too. The only problem with having this accuracy rate here, like, if you look at my accuracy rate since the 26th, my accuracy rate is 85.7% in the last 2 weeks. And so I'm super happy with that accuracy rate. It's a really beautiful accuracy rate to have. But I think going on this win streak like I have in the last 2 weeks makes me sell a little bit too soon. I'm not taking advantage of the full move and the full risk and reward that I'm giving myself, the full reward target I'm giving myself. And while I'm happy that my accuracy rate is high and it's really, really good at this point in the last 2 weeks, I do think it's kind of negatively affecting how long I'm holding the stock. And I'm happy, like my average hold time for a winning trade is 10 minutes. My average hold time for a losing trade is 5 minutes. And so I'm glad I'm holding my winners longer. I'm cutting my losses short. But I think being on this win streak and wanting to keep the win streak going, like I said, is negatively affecting my reward target. I'm not holding it like I need to because I want to have another green trade. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Hey, nice job, Luke. Congrats, brother. Congrats. I appreciate it, Casey. Yeah, man. Right. I mean, the fact that I can go on a 2 week win streak, uh, I don't know, Sid. It just depends. It depends. Like on TEFs, like I just export my trades. I go to trade, historical data, trades, and I just export my trades this way. And so it just depends on whether your broker can export a paper account. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with this win streak, Desert. I still have to be able to see the mistakes that I've been making, even though my win streak is great. I've been making a few mistakes in there, and like I said, I think a lot of it is due to wanting to keep the win streak going, and so I exit a little bit too early. But my accuracy rate is high. I think to go on a win streak like that, you have to be a good trader for the most part. And so I'm happy with it for sure, but it's just about tweaking those holes in my game and getting a little bit better, as always, is the state of trading. Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, that's the biggest flaw. That's the biggest flaw with TEFs for sure is, people talk about, there's been a lot of drama with TradeNet and TEFs lately. In all honesty, all the overseas brokers do what TradeNet does. At least with CFDs, that's what you sign up for, where it's like other brokers don't tell you they're doing it, but they actually do. And so that's not a problem for me. I've never heard of anybody not getting their withdrawal from TradeNet. My biggest flaw is that some penny stocks aren't tradable. That's the biggest flaw. And if you think about it, I mean, it's mostly because that's TradeNet teaches like higher price stocks. Like that's what they teach. And so it makes sense that some of them aren't. But that's my biggest pet peeve with it. I mean, I can generally find enough stocks to trade, as you could see by the streams. But, if I could change anything about it, it would be letting me trade some of those cheaper penny stocks. Hey, nice, Edwin. Welcome, brother. From Medellin, Colombia. Welcome, brother. With the payout system, you can withdraw. I'm on a 70, man. I gotta look it up. I'm on a student account, so I think my split's a little bit better. My split may be 75-25, but there's a profit split, so like it's 70-30 for most intro accounts. So like if you bring the account up $1,000 from 14,000 to 15,000, you keep 700, they keep 300, and so it's a 70-30 profit split. But they're giving you the buying power. Like with the student account, I get 80K in buying power. With the intro account, you get 14,000 in buying power. And so biggest flaw is some of the cheaper penny stocks aren't tradable. Although the commissions are actually pretty cheap. Commissions, at least if you're using less than like 200 or 300 shares, commissions equal out to about $4 a round trip. And so the commissions are pretty cheap. It just depends, man. Every broker is good for different things. Like some brokers are better for certain things than other brokers. And it's just about whether it fits your style. Like I love using TradeNet and TEFs because anything that's tradable, I can short. And I'm a short bias trader, and so I love that. A decent platform, and I can use small sizing with cheaper commissions. And so that's why I like TEFs and TradeNet. But if you're like one of those traders that like to use big sizing with like cheap penny stocks, and TradeNet probably isn't the right broker for you. And so it just depends on what you're looking for specifically. Like somebody else was in here. Yeah, I post links for TradeNet and I make commissions if people sign up, but I'm still honest with people about it. Like somebody was in here the other day asking what would be the best broker for them, and they kind of told me that they were a long bias trader that needed cheap commissions. And I told them actually U-Stock trade probably would be the best option for them if they're looking to get around the PDT rule. And so it just depends on what you're actually looking for. I'm not one of those people that mindlessly defend any broker. Like I try to be honest with people about everything. And like I said, with TEFs and TradeNet, the biggest flaw, in my opinion, is that some of the cheaper penny stocks, most of the cheaper penny stocks under $5 are not tradable. And so that's the biggest flaw for me, at least. But it all depends. Right, that was Ruben, right? Yeah, that was you, Ruben. What do you mean by that, Maximus? Yeah, it's not, Luke. I looked at it already. It's not. I'm surprised, though, because it's an ETF, I believe, right? UXIN's an ETF, correct? But it's not tradable. I've already checked it out. Yeah, for sure. That's the big thing. I've heard good things about CME Group. I've heard good things about them. I've never used them though. Like I've used. I'm not sure. I've never used. I haven't used SureTrader in 2 years. Nice two-way. Nice job, brother. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like they all have their pros and cons. Like the cons of SureTrader are that the platform's super expensive. At least the last time I used SureTrader, and that's all I can really say was my experience with SureTrader, is that the platform's like 150 a month. At least for me, if you want the full platform with level 2, it's like 150 a month, and that gets taken out of your account. Um, Commissions were a little bit higher when I used them. Some people are saying that they're not as high anymore, but when I use SureTrader, commissions for like a full round trip were at the minimum like $12, at the maximum like 20 something, if depending on the sizing. And so commissions and platform fees will kind of, like somebody said, eat you up on SureTrader. That's the biggest thing. That was the biggest flaw with SureTrader in my opinion. They also restrict cheaper stocks. Like if the stock is under 250, you can't use a margin. You can't use your full buying power on SureTrader. But I love the DOS platform. I think the DOS platform is great. It's one of my favorite platforms in all of trading. And so, pros and cons. Yeah, I mean, I kind of branch it out too, two-way. Like I use Robinhood for like small, like day trading when I can, and specifically options. I've heard great things about interactive brokers. Never used them. I know when I checked in on them like a while back, interactive brokers, the minimum deposit was 10 grand, and I just didn't have 10 grand to put into it. And so, but I've heard really good things about interactive brokers. Like if I ever get over 25K, I'm probably going to go to interactive brokers just because I've heard really good things about them. What's up, Darvin? Really? You could use DOS for free on CME? I never knew that, man. I thought somebody said that. Let me look. Let me know how they are, man. I'm curious. They're not letting me in because I'm not. They're not letting me in because I'm a U.S. I'm in the U.S. They're looking at my IP address. I did agree. I agree. Yeah, it's still here. It's not letting me in to CME groups. Is the platform free? Let me know, man. I'm curious. Yeah, I can do that. Here you go, brother. Better? Ah. They don't accept U.S. customers? What? Really? Yeah, TST, man. Finding some support at the VWAP and bouncing nicely there. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, sorry guys, no trades for me today. I mean, it's kind of one of those days where if I don't see anything I really like, I'm not going to jump into it. The only one that I could have made money on that fits within my strategies is this VWAP bounce here for AMD. And it would have been nice, but it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, Michael. I mean, I just don't have 150 grand to put into a trading account right now. If I did, I wouldn't be trading on a small account, you know. Momo? I mean, like I said, Momo, the only thing I was watching for this one was a fade here. I think I gave myself, I was looking at a risk of 27.30 here. And so it's faded already. But that was back when it was up here. You know, reward level of 26. So it would have been a good risk reward. Not the best, but not terrible either. It's a little bit too late for it, but I was trying to look at the fade here. It's just a little bit too longer term. I love hate. I mean, Sean, I got all love for AMD, brother. Like, if you look at my stats here, like I showed somebody this earlier, but like if you look at my stats from the last week, I'm loving AMD right now, man. Like, look, these are my stats from the last week. Had a 85.7% accuracy rate in the last 2 weeks. But look at this. Look at the stocks I traded. It's all love for AMD right now for me, man. That's what I said. It's been like a money machine, man. It's been working really well. But you can see almost all my trades were on AMD. I had one on CGC. But I'm loving AMD right now. All right, two-way. Nice work today, brother. Have a good day, man. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. The NASDAQ 100. What's the symbol? I don't usually trade a lot of the big-time ETFs. Right, 100%, Sean. That's what I've been attacking, man. It's been great. Good fills. Um, Good fills. Very predictable. It's like I said, this is what I've been looking for AMD, and this is why I've really been focusing on it. I could pull up something here. So, like, if you see this, you can see AMD did a nice VWAP bounce right here today, right? And if you look at my backtesting results, like, these are my results from backtesting. Whoa, what did I do? Oh, no. Sorry, guys. Wow, what did I do here? Sorry, let me pull this back up. There we go. All right, but no, if you look at my back testing results from AMD or from the VWAP bounce, this is just in the month of November. You can see the results I got from back testing the VWAP bounce and really the VWAP fade is that the VWAP bounce had a 75% accuracy rate on the right conditions in November for me. And the favorable conditions were volume, large breakouts at the open, and a previous history of bounces. And you can look under favorable tickers here, and AMD is number one. And so, favorable sectors, cannabis and microchip, AMD's microchip. And so the results I got from backtesting AMD were really positive with the VWAP bounce. And that's why I said I was kind of watching it this morning. I didn't end up taking it, but it bounced really nicely off this VWAP here. But if you look at the previous history of the chart, it's super reliable lately. Like if it drops like this at the open, it fades. You can see two fades really nicely on Tuesday. The day before that, it pushed up and it bounced really nicely here. The day before that, it faded really nicely here. This was a trade I made money on as well. More fades here and here. Another fade here. And so it's been fading. Anytime it drops, it's been fading almost every day. And when it pushes up, it bounces really nicely here and here. And so super reliable lately. And you can see that's why it's so prevalent in my stats in the last few weeks, is because it's been working, man. It's been really positive. That's why I said it's kind of one of those ones that I've really been watching. Right, that's what I was thinking, Ivan. I knew it wasn't free. I knew it cost something. The DOS platform is usually pretty expensive. Uh, Yes. So I backtest with Thinkorswim. I use On Demand to go back in time, Sean. And I try to use a year sample size, but sometimes I just don't have the time for it. But yeah, I backtest on Thinkorswim. I just kind of do it the old school way where I give myself a success point and a failure point. And if it reaches the success point, I give it a tally for success. And if it reaches the failure point, which is usually my risk, I give it a tally for failed. And then kind of add them all up to get a percentage and see what's favorable with it. It's kind of the way I do it. And it works, Like I said, you can see that AMD, it did exactly what the backtesting results showed on that bounce. Any tips what broker to use to trade penny stocks? I mean, it depends on what your definition of a penny stock is. SureTrader has some penny stocks if you mean stocks, within. I mean, you can trade some penny stocks on SureTrader. It just depends on what you classify as a penny stock, how much money you have to put into it, and a lot of different things. Oh, 100%, Sean. It's one of those things I always preach about. Like in our classes, that's something that I really focus on and teach is backtesting, Sean. Just because I think, if you think about it, like backtesting is what the algorithmic traders do. Like that's what the algorithmic traders do, and they do it for a reason. They do it because it gives you an edge. It shows you when's the best time to attack certain strategies. When's the best time to do certain different strategies. And so it only makes sense is to backtest. And yes, it's a meticulous, time-consuming process, but at the same time, it's beneficial 100%. $1 to $10 penny stocks, maybe SureTrader, man. I don't know. It all just depends. Are you trying to go long or short? Oh, well, if I'm not, honestly, then I'm not sure, Paulius. I'm really not sure then, man. Like I said, I'm really not sure then if you need leverage under. I mean, there's U stock trade, but there's not a lot of penny stocks on U stock trade either. There's more penny stocks than on TAFs and TradeNet, but there's still not a ton, and there's no leverage at all on U stock trade. And so, to be honest, I'm not sure. Hey, no worries, Paulius. Yeah, and shout out to Trade Ideas, man. I should probably post their link. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas is a super cool company, man. They're cool enough to let me actually stream their scans every day. And so I can post that link. If anybody's interested in checking out trade ideas, they really do make my morning a lot easier. And it makes kind of building a watch list super easy in the morning, as well as seeing the big moves in the market. And so if you're interested, check out Trade Ideas. I just posted the link in the stream chat. So go check them out. Really cool company. Really enjoy using them. Like I said, it makes my mornings super easy to build a watch list, find gappers, see what's breaking out and moving in the market. And so really enjoy using them. Oh, for sure, Edwin. I love using it, man. It really makes it easy. What's the best free real-time charting website software? I gotta say Thinkorswim, man. Thinkorswim's free. It's real time. You just gotta create an account with them. I'm not sure about whether it's like I know I deposited $20 into Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade 2 years ago, and I'm still using free charting and free, free real time quotes, level two, everything. Right, 100%, Sean. Like I always say, MDCA. Bruce Lee had a famous quote. I posted it a while back, but it's definitely relevant to trading. And his quote was, I don't fear the man that has practiced 10,000 different types of kicks. I fear the man that has practiced one type of kick 10,000 times. And it's super relevant to trading, and it kind of shows that you need to master one strategy. Learn one strategy like the back of your hand. And then once you know that, then you can move on to something else. I think a lot of new traders, they watch all these different traders and they try to trade too broad. They try to trade every strategy under the sun. And that's something I did when I first got started. But I think a more reasonable way is to like stick with one strategy that you feel like has an edge, back test it if you need to, work on mastering that one strategy and get really good at that one strategy, and then moving on to something else after you've mastered it. Yeah, MDCA is moving some. Um, I'll probably end up closing it down for the day, guys. I'm just not seeing anything I really like right now. It's a little late. I'm probably not going to trade anything else. So yeah, go check out Trade Ideas. Again, if you're interested in signing up to TradeNet, which is the broker I use, do your research. You can ask me any questions about it. But if you're interested in signing up to TradeNet, if you go through my link, it gets you 10% off. So instead of paying 500 for the intro package, it's 450. I went over a little bit earlier. Do your research. There's been some drama about them lately, but I enjoy using them, and you can see I've been trading with them for about a year now, and definitely enjoy it. So go check them out if you have time. Also, good luck in the rest of the day, guys. We'll see you all a little bit later. Go check out our classes if you're interested in learning from us. I could post that link as well. You can see the link up there. Nightbot just posted the link. Go check out our classes. It's really cheap, guys. It's $30 a month. And you get like 400 hours of backlog classes, 40 plus old classes, plus 20 live ones. And, we're not experts or gurus. We're just showing people our system. And, if you watch us trade, you can see that our system works. And so go check that out. Good luck for the rest of the day. Like always, guys, we're always going to keep the stream 100% free. I'm never going to charge anybody a thing for these live streams. And so always going to do it for free. And all these, links we post, it's just a way to keep the stream free. And so hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Good luck for the rest of the day. We'll see you all tomorrow morning, same time as always. And have a good day, guys. Remember, protect your accounts, calculate risk and reward in each trade, give yourself a plan, and be careful in the market, guys. We'll see you all later.